Earlier today, one of my neighbors cut the eye bolt, which was right here, that held this lock. You can see the bolt to keep this gate locked so that he could get in. Now I'm in my yard watering and feeding my animals. See him play his day, he can see me. He's going to let himself in on my property, not say nothing to me, and just do what he wants to do on the property, which in this particular case, one of his small cows had gotten in the canal and was walking down the canal and had crossed over to my property. Now for my property, it wasn't in any danger. There's no water in the canal. But for my property, and these are his track marks, it is illegal. You don't go cutting someone's fence open and letting yourself in. And he cut it on purposely so that I couldn't relock the fence back, and told me, well, it's TDIC land, so you don't have any business locking it anyway. It's an easement. You can't lock it. Not only can I lock it, this is private property. It runs through the middle of my property, as you see, our buildings. And this is all my property on the other side. Only TDIC has any business in here. It's been locked for the last 2 years, and they have keys. Those who have a business being in here have keys to get in. The local ranchers were using the middle of my property, like Grand Central Station, bringing all their heavy equipment to 2 and 3 in the morning in the summer months, until I started locking the gate. It's an easement for TDIC, for no other person than a purpose for them to, if this gets clogged up and the water flow gets stopped up, for them to be able to come in here and clean it out. Just like earlier today, they did a burn right there. Right there where it goes under the bridge area. And they did a burn right outside the fence area. Now, his property is the neighboring property to mine. So he could have walked down the canal from his property to get his cow. But he wanted to bring his truck, and I don't know if a truck is necessary to retrieve an animal. It's not small. He might have needed to help him pull it out of the ditch. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is these privileged white males in this area who think they could just do whatever they want, totally not acknowledge the fact that I'm the property owner here. And just let yourself in on my property. Don't say anything to me. I would have let him in myself. All you had to say is, one of my cows is down in the canal. Can I come get it? But you're going to cut my fence open and let yourself in on my property. Totally ignore me. Don't say nothing to me. I approached him. Like, why are you coming in here? The fence is locked. Oh, I cut it. And then have an entitled attitude of, well, you're not supposed to lock it anyway. That's not your call. You're not authority. You're not TDIC. And then he kept telling me, well, TDIC needs to get in. TDIC's got a key. Anybody who belongs in here and has a right to be in here has a key. You don't have a key because you are not authorized to be in here. I gave him my number, and I told him if it happens again, this is a fire that was not set by TDIC. Originally, it was about 20 feet. You can see the embers going all the way down here, all the way into this area. All the way to, you still see the burnt pieces of the burnt wood. And all the way through here. And then the charring and stuff stops. And this was maybe, it was about a year ago. You can still see some of the charred debris, but a lot of new growth has come up in between it. And this is about a good 20 feet by 10 feet wide area with one of the fires that we set on the property. over back by the fencing, there's a 30-foot by 15-foot area where a fire was deliberately set on the property. In 2020, in total, we've had 6 fires deliberately started on our property, or 5. The 6th one, I came home and caught them about to set a fire on the property, and they took off. And I filed a police report. Okay, you can see where the ground got darker in this section, and the dark colored pieces of the charred wood. So all of this was part of a burn area, which was approximately 30 feet. You can see the charred pieces. I'll bend down and pick some up in a minute so you can get a better look. This was 30 feet by 15 feet where this area was burned, close to the front fence area. Had nothing to do with the TCID people. You can see the graying on the ground. And this is 2 years ago, and many rainstorms and many snow since, and you can still see the charring and discoloration on the ground from where this fire was set. And this was a bigger one. But these people think they can just do whatever they want. I'm really getting tired of this whole little entitled attitude of these people. You're not entitled to a goddamn thing on my property. I am the property owner. And if you don't ask my permission to come on my property and do anything, then you don't have any business here doing it. He doesn't work for the city. He's not part of the city government. He's not TDIC, which are the people who are authorized to come in and make sure the water flows. That's the main canal to the Indian reservation and a large portion of Fallon in the lower area. This is a main canal for the water district. That's why it's cement and not just dirt like most of the other ones around town. But no, you don't get to just cut my fence. And he'd promised that he would put another easbolt in there and replace it. And I said, okay, if you fix it, then we're fine. He had no intentions on fixing it because he thought he was entitled to bring himself on my property and cut my lock and let himself in because he felt he had a need. Again, the animal was not in any dire need. There's no water in there. He could have walked from his property, but he wanted to bring his vehicle in. I'm outside feeding and watering my animals. He didn't try to flag me or acknowledge me in any way. Even when he was pulling up onto my property, he saw me feed and water the animals and wasn't acknowledging me in any kind of way. Wouldn't have told me a damn thing unless I'd walked over there and insisted, what are you doing on my property? And this is where they just did a burn. Maybe an hour after this incident. But now I need to fix this because today is Thursday. Friday and Saturday are usually the worst days for the vandalism on the property and the trespassing going into the weekend. And so now I have to re-repair this, get another easbolt and put it in here and re-secure this fence because he decided he had the authority to cut my thing loose, and he doesn't. This is trespassing, and you see the back of all these no trespassing signs. So, no.